Well, all the pumpkin spice stuff is back at the grocery store since it's post Labor Day. So
my house smelled like fall on August 31st. I don't hear it.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
we love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week we're taking a look at Marvel's What If show.
Okay.
Couple images to look at there. The Joker is taking top prize at the Venice Film Festival.
So I've heard.
This I think it's been there like 2 weeks there now. The next Star Wars trailer has been rated for previewing.
Good thing we got that bingo card out of the way.
And more.
Yeah, that's a heads up before we get to that section. Go make your bingo card for the next Star Wars movie before that trailer comes out, because you're slowly losing street cred with every new bit of information coming out. We might be able to possibly mark some of the stuff off that card when that trailer drops.
Yeah, that's what one of the things you said, when we were doing that last week, or before you said that, like, we can do this before the next trailer comes out, just so we can go ahead and be ready to see if we're gonna be on point to get a bingo or just totally biff it. And
well, it's a good thing that I say we, it's really you, are so keyed into the news, because we just knew a trailer is on the horizon. Like, it's not like we've only had 2 little teaser trailers, so we know something's coming.
Yeah, and the movie comes out in December. I think we only had 1 teaser trailer, and that one was kind of like a D23 retrospective. So I don't even know if that would even would count. But definitely everyone talked about the end of that trailer from last week with the double-bladed lightsabers and all that fun stuff. Speaking of lightsabers,
where's this going?
Yeah, exactly. This weekend I was invited to the a Comic Con. I use this in quotes because it's actually comic book based Comic Con. There's like maybe 2 celebrities there, and like they were like very like, I think it was 2 guys from Comic Book Men and a comic book artist, right? And I got to go with listeners of the show, Jason Ambrositis and Troy, his brother-in-law. And then my friend Jeremy popped along as well. We went down there. We had a really good time. Nothing's better than a bunch of guys riding in a car going to Comic-Con. You know this, Mike, from my experience. So we got down there. I actually need to start the day off. I pull up, and then Troy pulls up behind me. He's like, "I got a gift for you." And I said, "Oh, no."
That sounds ominous, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, no." So he goes to the passenger side of his car, gets a huge box out of his car. I'm like, "Oh, no. Oh, no."
Sweating bullets, hands are clammy.
Oh, no. I look at it. It's a hot dog roller, Mike. Troy remembers when we were talking about making things into like a theater. I don't remember the details exactly, so I'm going to need refresh from anyone who can remember this conversation exactly.
But apparently we were talking about it on the show, on the podcast, right?
Yeah, and he immediately went out and got me this hot dog roller and has been holding on to it forever. So now in my little what I call Margaritaville theater area is a hot dog roller. And I've already decided, and I told them that this is going to make me the hero of family get-togethers, Mike. Ooh. I just pack up the hot dog roller, a bunch of nice hot dogs, and I just show up. 10 minutes later, we're eating hot dogs once I plug it in.
You know, I have to say, it's a great invention, because I don't know about you, but every like barbecue or cookout I've ever gone to is the hot dogs are always last priority. Like the man or the woman at the grill is always like throwing down the beef patties, the steaks or whatever. And then just before everybody's about to eat, they're like, shit, I forgot about the hot dogs. And it's just always like, and then you kind of get like the pity ask, like, oh, do you want a hot dog? Do you want a hot dog? And really they're thinking, I hope nobody says yes, because I don't want to have to open this package of hot dogs, because I already made all this other stuff. So now all you have to do is just set this thing out, bam, 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 throw a couple hot dogs up there.
And they stay warm. You can come back and get a warm hot dog. You're not getting a cold hot dog later when you want a snack.
Yes. And the best thing I like about hot dogs is there's so many different ways to like heat them, because they're all cooked. It's not like when you're cooking a burger. So it's like, we actually just got hot dogs for lunch just the other day this weekend, and a steamed hot dog is almost better than a grilled hot dog because the process of steaming it like plumps it up more, so you just get a different experience. And trust me, I've gone to many 7-Elevens and gotten hot dogs off of rollers and have been very satisfied. So all I have to say is that is an amazing gift from a listener of the show. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I imparted him one of our San Diego Comic-Con stickers, of course,
nice.
With the exclusives. I have a few left for people, so if I see you, you will. I know people. I have a list of people. If I see you, you'll get them. So I got to thank him for that hot dog roller because that is hilarious and awesome. But also, the convention, I was able to pick up a couple comic books here or there. He same guy Troy. He bought a long box worth of random comic books from this one comic book store. They had like $100 get you a whole long box full of comics, and we looked it up. That's like 250, 300 books in that thing. So he helped me get one called Marvel Nemesis: Rise of the Imperfects, which actually was based on a video game Marvel released in the early 2000s as well. So I got that. And then what else? Then we went back and we all hung out and had a good time. So I just gotta give a shout to that for the low profile comic conventions and all the people there. It's just a really good time. So.
You know what? That's awesome. There's actually a comic, a series of kind of comic books that I've been looking out for that are kind of hard to find. I found out recently, I learned about the creator of Scrooge McDuck, this guy named Carl Barks, who used to... He used to write just kind of like these very family-friendly, like just Disney comics, like, way back in the day. And he created, basically, is it Donald Duck's dad? I don't quite remember.
No, Scrooge I think is Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle, yeah, that's right. So he created Scrooge. And everybody kind of thought this old man, or I guess maybe he was younger at the time, was just kind of creating this like throwaway character. But he made this really lush lore around this whole like Duckburg world and this Scrooge McDuck character himself. And I didn't realize all of these old comics went right into the development of the DuckTales show that we all grew up with and we knew and loved. And also the new DuckTales show also goes back to a lot of Carl Barks comic books. And I've heard that they've been collected into some larger volumes. So I hear they're not exactly like cheap though. Sometimes the original ones are harder to find. So just a heads up for anybody out there that likes DuckTales or Disney stuff, look out for some Carl Barks stuff, because I hear he was kind of like one of those comic book figures that got pushed to the side and his name didn't really get the recognition it deserved, but it's finally coming back around, like the creator of Batman. It was a Bill Finger, come back around and get his credit. So shout out to I'm pretty sure long dead Carl Barks, but it's cool that legacies like that are coming back.
Yeah definitely is. I also this weekend, if anyone's want to know, I played Gears of War 5 all weekend. Came out.
Oh, how was that? Because I saw a gigantic ad on the side of the freeway talking about Gears, and it was like a female character, I think, forward on the billboard. Is that right?
Yep. So you play as a character named Kate Diaz, I think is her name, and another guy named Dell. You can swap between them, and you do multiplayer. But she's the main character of this, and what's really interesting is that there is in the early Gears of War games, you walk through this like very interesting area that's like genetic research, right? I think in Gears of War 2.
It sounds vaguely familiar. I think I've definitely played the first two.
Okay, and then there are these characters called the Sires, right? They're these big ones that pop out of these tubes and come get you, like little test tube things. And it's finally, some of that Gears 2 stuff is paying off now in 5. Which is awesome, because I was like, I had ideas in my head, and I was like, come on, like, when are we gonna get to these things here? So, very, very excited for that to pay off. It's really a really fun game. Some of these levels are huge. There's a big, like, 2 open world levels. One's a big snow level, one's a big sand level, and you go to like little encampments throughout and get out and do stuff. So,
well, I think it's just a DLC or maybe even possibly just a novelty, but I saw on Twitter that Dave Bautista is in the game. Is he just like a skin for multiplayer, or is he like in the story?
He's a skin for multiplayer. So,
okay. I thought that was actually really cool. Like, if you're going to make somebody like pay for DLC, like, it's awesome that it's somebody like famous, I
don't even know if he's paid. I think he comes with a certain version of it. And they also, like, my version, the one I'm playing here is through Gears of War, or not Gears of War, Game Pass Ultimate. I get the Terminator endoskeleton, the T-800.
What? That's in the game?
Yeah, in multiplayer. And,
Oh my god.
Sarah Connor for the good guys. Her skin, and then also 2 Halo Spartan characters from Halo Reach as well.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, so like they're going all out. Gears 4 actually had the guys from Run the Jewels as paid characters much later in their life.
Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah, so let me see.
Gears has always been fun. I have really fond memories of playing that game because since I'm a little bit more of a casual gamer, the slower pace of the action was a lot more comforting because you just kind of like lumber into the battlefield, get your cover, kind of like just lay down sprays of ammo. It felt always a little bit more strategical, whereas like multiplayer at Halo felt more like a sport. Mm-hmm. Like you better get that reticle right over their freaking head and like aim just where they're about to be and then get that headshot, or you just might not even play the game online, you know?
Oh, exactly. I mean, the gameplay in this is if it's not broke, don't fix it. So the fact you love the first two, this one feels just the same, which is cool. Which is great.
But it's just Xbox only, right? It's never come to any other consoles, has it?
Xbox and PC.
Okay.
Through Xbox game. So my brother plays it on computer. I play it on Xbox. And you get Dave Bautista for free if you play anytime between the 15th of September and 28th of October.
Oh, interesting. It's like a timed window.
Yeah, I think you can buy him afterwards, but like if you just play him, it's like a cross promo with the WWE events or something like that. He recorded like 700 lines of dialogue and stuff like that. Like they've really kind of let him have some fun with it. So,
cool.
I've been playing that. I'm really excited about it. I think I'm in Act 3. Or Chapter 3. Yeah, Chapter 3. So I think they usually go to 4 or 5. So, feel pretty good that it's not done the first day. From that, so I played that a little bit this weekend, and then there was another game I played this weekend, Mike, and I think you were there for this. Me, friend of the show, Quentin, and then I think Quentin's friend, but you know him, a guy named Nick. We all played Dungeons and Dragons via the internet this weekend.
This was my very first time. It was my first approach in the D&D. I mean, obviously, it's somewhat mainstream now, and if you've kind of been in like a nerdy community, you've been aware of it. So I kind of had an idea of how the game was like supposed to work. I knew it was mostly improv, and you want to make sure your actions support the story, but you want to make sure you move things along. You kind of want to put like some character behind your character, if you will, a bit of a backstory. So I had a lot of fun doing that. It was a little bit difficult to figure out the mechanics. I probably should have showed up to Quentin's place a little bit earlier, maybe to lay out this character sheet, because I just did not know what I was doing. It's a little complicated up front, but once you get into it, even Quentin, who is not exactly a pro dungeon master, it seemed like he was cutting his teeth on that portion. Even that, I still had a really fun time.
Yeah, I think that was the best part. We're all stumbling through this together a little bit. Figuring out how do you get 4 people in 3 different parts of the country together. I mean, you had the luxury of being there with Quentin, but like next time, we're like, oh, we don't all have to be in the same room.
Yeah, it almost wasn't even a luxury. It's like what was it? It was called Roll20. Was that the website we were using?
Yep.
Yeah, Roll20 was like this website to help people facilitate playing a game. It was almost like a chat room with a lot of interactivity.
Yeah.
Like a Google Hangout with like tons of stuff that you can do inside of the Hangout. But it was a little bit more difficult because it favors people being in different locations, not some of the people being in the same spot. So we had to like turn microphones and headphones off for one of the computers, and we had to take our headphones on, turn speakerphones on. So it was a little confusing, but I think the next time we play it'll be a lot easier. I'm kind of looking forward to, there was like a drawing feature where you could draw on the maps that you were playing.
Yep.
And I got this nice Huion like 20-inch plus tablet on my desk, and I was like, man, I got like a whole pen. I can really go in on this, and I can like draw some really cool stuff. So looking forward to see if that works the next time we start playing.
Yeah, I mean, it was really fun. I mean, just for people who don't know, I mean, I really enjoyed your character, Big Bad Billy, the Ranger, and then yeah, go ahead.
The alliteration, I pulled that straight from a Marvel comic. I was just like, how do I name this character? Like, there's a lot of pressure when it's just like, all right, you're about to do like 1,000 different things to build out your character. The first thing you need to do is give it a name. And I'm like, the
hardest part of the whole building process.
Yeah, exactly.
So we had a ranger, a rogue, and I was a wizard, and we had to attack these slimes, right? And It's funny.
These ain't no Monster Rancher slimes that go out with a couple of hits. These things were rough.
Yeah. So, Nick got one hit with his character on one, and then it hit him back and KO'd him. And then I went over to you, and we took that one out, and then another one sneak attacked you and knocked you out in one hit. So here I am, this wizard with Ray of Frost. I'm just doing my best Iceman all over the place, just freezing these things and trying to stay alive. And we ended up, we made it. What did Quentin say? I Leroy Jenkins'd it.
Yeah, you Leroy. I mean, because luckily it was an ice blast. You were able to slow them down. They couldn't get to your square, if you will, on the map. But then you valiantly dragged us out of this cave, and now we left off at sleeping in front of kind of a little bonfire, just in like the breezeway of the cave, if you will. So next time we get together, I guess some dice will be rolled, and we'll see how much health we have when we wake up from being fainted. Because I was told we're not permanently dead. We're more like fainted like Pokemon right now. So I'm waiting to see what Nurse Joy does for me next time around.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was a really fun time. Like you said, you knew exactly what I was gonna do because we talk every week. You were like, this is Chris playing this character. And then it was really fun. I had a lot of fun. I haven't done something like that in a while, so I just had to give a shout to everyone how quickly we all pulled that together in 24 hours and just went with it. So that was a good time. But I didn't hear much else out of you this weekend because I was doing everything. So what else did you get up to, if you will?
Before we roll into nerdy news, we checked out something that I usually like to jump into is these kind of like nature documentaries. There's one called like Blue Planet. There's one called Planet Earth. Netflix has their own that they bankrolled called Our Planet. So it gets very confusing because all of these like planet documentaries have very similar names. So you're never really sure which one you're referring to. But I believe it came out either late last year or early this year, and it's got like a ton of Emmy nominations. Just like all of these nature documentaries, it took like multiple years to make, ton of like hidden setup cameras. They get shots that have never been seen before. Drones are a much bigger thing now than they have been in the past, so they're able to get some really cool shots. So go check out Our Planet. It's like 8 episodes. Each episode is kind of isolated to like a biome of the planet. And then after you watch them all, there's like this cool like hour-long like behind-the-scenes documentary of like how the crew got some of these shots. And man, these people were like dedicated. They were trying to get footage of this Siberian tiger. So they had to like live in these tiny like wooden boxes, and they wouldn't open up the door for 6 days, and they were only allowed to leave like once a week because this tiger's like landscape is just so delicate. Like any sign of a human, it just won't pop out. And they got some really amazing footage, and they did that for like 2 years. I couldn't even like fathom it. Like, how could you even live like that? So props to these people dedicated their work. I just couldn't keep it to myself because it was just so amazing. So yeah, go if you're in between nerdy streaming content, go check out Our Planet on Netflix. It's really awesome.
Our Planet, Your Planet.
Yep. Oh, or is it Your Planet? No, maybe it's Our Planet.
It's Our Planet.
No, I think it's Our Planet. Yeah.
There's a lot going on with those titles. They're all so similar.
Oh yeah, and Netflix has a lot of the other shows. They have rights to stream a lot of the other stuff. So if you look it up, you're going to see you're going to see like Blue Planet from the BBC. You're going to see Planet Earth Part 1 and Part 2. There's other stuff too. So your algorithm is about to change up when you start watching that stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fun. I mean, that sounds like a good time. I know it also, like, didn't you say last week, was it you who said if you want to be depressed, watch this stuff too? Because at the end, they're like, our Earth is dying.
Oh yeah, David Attenborough and his I mean, he's got great narration, but I mean, they definitely key a lot of this stuff into like, here, look at this amazing, majestic creature. Look at this rare footage that you've never seen before. Isn't it great? Don't you really love this animal? Guess what? Half of them are dead now, and they're all going to be dead in 2 years unless you do something. I'm just like, no. And yeah, but it's still it's powerful. It's cool stuff. So got to put the word out there,
Yeah. Well. Hopefully it's still around in 2 years, Mike. That's
we'll see.
My hope. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything else. I think we're ready to jump into the news here. We said at the top of the show, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker has a trailer that's been classified called Trailer C. It's been rated for previewing by the British Board of Film Classification. Theories are that they've got it ready and they're going to put it out October 14th during Monday Night Football because The Last Jedi came out during October 9th during Monday Night Football.
I mean, I don't really have any graphs or charts in front of me that shows how long does it take for a trailer to come out once it's been rated, but I feel like that's a pretty wide space there. That's over a month from after the trailer's been rated. I feel like usually once we report these types of things on the show, we're seeing the trailer days or at most maybe a week later. So, I mean, football is that's already started, so maybe they'll attach it to a sooner game, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they'd put something out so soon after the other preview. Maybe that's why they were thinking a good month break. But, I mean, yeah, that's forever away. But, I mean, if it's October 14th, that's also a good time for them to start putting tickets on sale 2 months in advance because they're going to sell out so quick. This they always do in Star Wars.
Yeah,
man.
Well, it's like this trailer will be like our first real full-fledged trailer that's not a teaser trailer, and usually we'll get at least one more. Like they'll call it like the final trailer or something like that. So now I'm trying to think like, well, if we get one like in the middle of October, like is the final trailer really gonna be like in November, like that close to the release? I mean, I don't know. I feel like that window seems a little too close to me, but all I'm saying is I hope I don't have to wait all the way till October, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think if it does, this is a good middle ground for both of those. If they only want to do one more trailer and not ruin any spoilers or potentially have any leaks come out in the upcoming months, because this weekend there was a Comic-Con, I think in Salt Lake City, with McDiarmid, who plays the Emperor, right, in all the movies, and Hayden Christensen, a beloved actor for Anakin Skywalker in the prequel movies. Apparently, Disney had them cancel this panel of them appearing because apparently they might spoil or give away some of Rise of Skywalker stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, you bring those two people to a panel and there's like, hey, guess what? I hear that they're closing out that Star Wars saga and one of you has been featured on the poster. I think, yeah, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about it, and if you're not super trained in PR, it sounds like you're going to let something slip.
Well, I think the other thing is, I don't know if Hayden Christensen has done anything related to Star Wars lately until this year. So the rumors are running rampant that he will appear as a Force ghost at some point in this movie. Is this true? I don't know, but my bingo card's looking pretty solid at this point.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like half of this movie is going to be Force ghosts.
Yeah, because they're going to wrap up, again, 40-something years of movies, 9 total movies that I'm counting, because I'm not counting the spin-offs for this, the main trilogies here. So, I mean, they could literally pull anything out in this last movie and to, surprise us, but also tie it back to older films and have those nice, I guess, touching moments, if you will, to wrap it up. But I figured Hayden Christensen had kind of distanced himself from Star Wars after literally all the I guess feedback he got in the prequel movies.
Feedback, yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
Well, I mean, internet people weren't nearly as vocal then as they are now about Star Wars. No one hates Star Wars more than a Star Wars fan, Mike. You all know that's true.
That is very true. I feel like some people say that about sports teams, so yeah. I can see the passion running deep.
Yeah, very much so. So Star Wars, gonna wrap up. I mean, other than Joker, we'll talk about it in a little bit here, I don't think anything else is really highlighting the end of the year for me. As much as I will have to go see Frozen 2 in theater, I just think Star Wars is going to be
I'm looking forward to Frozen 2. When does that Pixar movie come out with like the fairies and like the unicorns? Is that this year?
I don't think so.
What is it called? Onward?
Yeah, I don't think so. It's March.
Okay, March. Yeah. Hey, Google found it for me before I even hit enter.
Yeah.
I thought that was maybe coming out this year, but yeah, I'm going to check out Frozen because I'm an animation nerd, and I actually like the original movie, and I listen to the soundtrack, so I don't even care. So I'm not even seeing it ironically. I'm seeing it because I want to see it.
Oh, well, isn't that cute of you?
Yeah. My wife was randomly asking me the other day because she was filling out some sort of like social media like giveaway, and she had to write down the movies that she was looking forward to for the rest of the year. And she was like, babe, what movies are coming out this year left that I'd want to see? And I was thinking in my head, and I was like, well, we're kind of in like Oscar season where a lot of the trailers that are coming out and stuff that'll appear will be what are vying for like, Best Picture nominations. And, we don't, she doesn't have a Harry Potter movie to look forward to this year because that was last year. Usually I'm trying to think of things that happen at the end of the year. And I was like, well, she's not really a James Bond person, but that's usually a November release. That's not coming out this year. No superhero movies at the end of the year. It's just Star Wars. So I'm like, yeah, what is coming out this year except for 2 more Disney movies of Frozen and Star Wars? I'm sure there's something, but it can't be huge. Terminator soon-ish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on how that can go either way. That's a big if. For me, I mean, I want to see Knives Out.
Oh yeah.
With that, I'm kind of interested. I'm a big sci-fi person, so the Ad Astra movie with Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
If you like trippy, if you like Legion, the showrunner Noah Hawley, his movie Lucy in the Sky opens the same day as Joker.
I've heard of that, but I haven't seen. Is there a trailer for that at all?
I think there's one trailer. It's a little trippy. Do you like de-aged Will Smith and Gemini Man?
Oh, I feel like I've heard some people are hyped for that movie, but I just watched the trailer and I go like, are we really going to trust this director again? What was it? John Woo? Is that who's directing it?
Ang Lee. Yeah, you're thinking Ang Lee. Yeah.
I get them mixed up sometimes, but I was just like, I don't know. Will Smith has not really been popping off for me lately. I don't know if you saw the new Bad Boys 3 trailer.
Oh, Bad Boys 4, if you will, please, for life.
Okay.
It's Bad Boys
I was like, wait,
for life.
I was like, there was a third one?
There is a third one.
But what? No, is it not with Will Smith?
No, I'm pretty sure. Is it?
No, I think it's just Bad Boys, and then it's Bad Boys. I don't remember the title of the second one. It's probably just Bad Boys 2.
Did they really just make it Bad Boys for Life as the third one? They did. Oh my god.
Yeah, because I remember in the second one, there's like a scene with like a military base. I think in like Mexico.
They're driving
like
over
that.
the minefields and the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess there's not a whole lot still coming out. There's like I'm sure there'll be something like on Netflix that might be good.
The other trailer that came out this week was the full Jojo Rabbit with Taika Waititi.
I skipped the trailer because I already know I want to see the movie, and I was like, this is something I don't need to watch the trailer for, thankfully, for the podcast. So I'm like, I'm just not going to watch any more trailers, and I'll just watch it when it hits theaters. So.
And not to pile on again, but Zombieland 2, if you're into that.
Oh, that was actually one that my wife voluntarily said she saw. Oh, the other one, Jumanji 2. What is it? Straight to the Jungle, Out of the Jungle.
Is that this year already?
Wow. Jungle to the Max. I don't remember what it's called.
To Jungle to Jumanji. Whatever. It 2 is this weekend. If people were interested in that, I know less people. And then the ever familiar Cats movie.
I might have to see that out of morbid curiosity.
So that actually comes out. I looked that up when we were in San Diego when the trailer came out. That's the same day as Star Wars.
I guess counter programming, if you will.
You ever want to put a movie to fail so horribly, make the CGI horrible, and put it up against Star Wars? So
I feel like they were in the concept art phase, and they were like, no one's going to see this movie unless it's weird. So throw away all of these models and designs that look appeasing, and we're just going to make it look weird as shit, and that's people will go see it, and it's working. I think it's honestly going to work.
You think people are going to go watch this?
Oh, I think so. I don't think it's going to be a box office failure. I think people will be able to paint success in some way. Maybe it'll go over, above, and beyond and do, I don't know, crazy international market. I don't know if they really like their cats in Japan, so I don't know if that's going to be a big bust over there or not, but we'll see.
Look, I mean, if any play was to become a movie, I wanted it to be what was it, the Book of Mormon? I would love to see that as a movie, or Stomp, because what are you going to do with Stomp? But we get Cats instead. That's fine. Well, how about this, Mike? Let's switch gears. For TV shows, we've got a new comic book TV show coming out in October with Watchmen. The sequel, or I guess the in the future of the Watchmen universe. It premieres on HBO on October 20th, which is my wife's birthday. So I will probably not get to watch that right away. And is expected to have 9 episodes. I don't think they've told us the full episode number yet, which is weird for it coming out next month.
It's a pretty short episode order, but that's all right. These shorter episodes can be fun. The Amazon Prime show Carnival Row is only 8 episodes. We're about halfway through it right now, I think, and it's been pretty fun. I feel like it's right on the cusp of kind of being something really fascinating, and like right now I feel like it's just serviceable, so it's not like in this weird space of just like I feel like it just needs like one episode to just like really get things going crazy. So but either way, it's only 8 episodes, so like I'll be done with it here shortly either way, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, well, Boys had 8 episodes as well. I mean, these
yeah.
And we're going to talk about the next show, actually, at HBO. Westworld Season 3 is going to have 8 episodes as well. So, I mean, I'm down with these shorter episode counts. I don't need to... Remember, because we always talked about the Marvel shows, 13 was way too many. Always too many. 10's pretty okay, I guess, if it's done well. What did Umbrella Academy had 10? I think.
Yeah, I think Umbrella Academy was 10, and it's this weird digital environment where they don't. It's not like premiering things on specific nights of the week back in the day, where you had to fill in a nightly schedule. Like these streaming services, like their number one priority is to get new subscribers and keep subscribers from leaving. We don't have to make sure there's new content like literally every single day, every night of the week. We just throw stuff at this algorithm and see what happens. So that's how you end up getting shorter episodes orders. I'm sure there's negative aspects to it in the industry, but for consumers, at least we're getting tighter, more interesting stuff.
Yeah, well, I think this really is heading towards the how television series operate in the UK. A lot of good shows that always have 6 to 8 episodes. They're able, I think, to get a lot more done and are more focused in that, rather than have a lot of filler episodes, which I hate filler episodes, Mike. Nothing ruins that steam of watching the show than just hey, let's have a flashback to the time you went fishing with your dad.
Yeah. Well, I know it was a little bit of a joke social media post, but if you follow Dan Harmon, the creator of Community and co-creator of Rick and Morty, he had like a fun little video picture thing he posted on Instagram where he was saying like, oh, I've hidden a script in this house, and it can be either adapted into a feature film or also chopped up into bits for a streaming service. And he was going on and on about like giving clues of where you find it. It was just a joke, but I was just like, well, I mean, he is a television movie writer and creator. If he knows off the top of his head, he jokes about the idea of a script being cut up into streaming services. I'm sure that's just how it goes in Hollywood. Like, I have a great idea for this movie. No studio wants to buy it. So what do you do next? You go to a streaming service like, hey, I have this great idea for a limited series.
Yeah, I have an idea. Do you want it to be a movie or a limited series is the question. Check one of these two boxes.
And if those streaming services don't work, you go to Quibi, which is launching in 2020. They came out with their prices, Chris. I know how interested you are in Quibi.
Someone asked, I told someone about it the other day, and I was like, this sounds like the dumbest. Like, when I said it out loud to somebody else, I'm like, this does not sound smart. I'm sorry.
If I remember right, it's $5 a month if you want ads, and apparently it's going to be ad kind of light. Like they're talking about maybe 1 or 2 ads like per video stream. So if these videos are like roughly 10 minutes long, it seems like it might be kind of the equivalent to YouTube, where you're getting like 1 or 2 little ads. Or if you want to shell out $8, you get no ads. I'm just like, well, $8 is the price of Disney Plus. So now you're competing with the likes of Disney Plus. So we'll see how Quibi works out, man.
Yeah, well, you never know with millennials, Mike. You just never know what they're going to subscribe to. But, no, that sounds horrible. But whatever. Who am I to judge? But yeah, so Watchmen, Westworld, HBO, they're really starting to load up their stuff because...
HBO Max, on the way.
Well, that and Game of Thrones is over. So what are you going to HBO for, Mike? Anything?
Well, I talked about one show the other week, The Righteous Gemstones. That's on HBO.
Okay.
I'm actually not much of a sports person, but this household is a Dwayne The Rock Johnson person. And he's got Ballers, which I think is like on season 3 or 4. It's not the most...
4. I think it's done.
Yeah, it's
done.
It's not the most intelligent or sophisticated show I've ever watched, but it's simple, it's easy, it's fun, it's easy to just like throw on the screen. You see a big movie star on HBO doing a TV show, so if you're into that kind of stuff, go check it out.
Well, The Rock puts out so many movies a year, man. I mean, but it's also upcoming season is the 5th, and it will be its last. So it's actually got 5.
That's good. I don't think it has much more steam. So
what was it? Is that movie? Is the show Barry still going, or did that?
Season 2 of Barry finished a few months ago, but I'm positive it's going to get more seasons. And the last season of Silicon Valley, which probably will come spring next year, is in production right now. So yeah, HBO's got some good stuff. They're gonna get some. They're getting some nerd content soon because they got His Dark Materials coming out. That looks very expensive, so I'd like to watch that. Isn't that crazy? Where I'm not really too interested if the show's gonna be good. I'm just like, oh, how much money are you pumping into it? I want to see that money on screen.
Yeah, and then the Game of Thrones prequel that's like thousands of years prequel, like Knights of the Old Throne.
Oh, is that what they said? They're taking that Lord of the Rings approach of just going thousands of years in the past?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's pretty much that's what it is. And they started, I think, filming a little bit of it too, or at least the pilot. So I could see it being out next winter if they wanted to. Winter's coming again is probably the tagline. I don't know. And you can always catch your favorite DC movies on HBO since it's owned by Warner Brothers. So if you want to do that, much like the Joker. Which is at the Venice Film Festival. It's been there for a week, and I looked this up. We talked about this. How many people saw this movie? Apparently, they show screenings multiple times throughout the week to allow more people in because the theater sizes are smaller at film festivals.
Yeah.
So people are watching Joker all week. They're doing their hot takes on social media.
Oh, my gosh. This is like going to be the steamed broccoli segment here. Everybody on Twitter has got hot takes of this movie, and okay, just be prepared. This is me defending a DC movie, which is something that doesn't usually happen on this show, but it's like there have been only a handful of people in the grand scheme of the global population that has seen this movie, so there is no way this many people on Twitter can have all these hot takes, all these Joker hot takes. Everybody's trying to push this narrative on social media that this is like a pro-incel type of movement where the Joker is this maniac and this movie is going to make you fall in love with him and how that's like so bad for society. And it's just like, you haven't even seen the movie. I don't understand what you're doing right now. It's just crazy. And it's unfortunate in a situation because I usually like to try to go into the movie not having any controversy attached to it and also not seeing any of the reviews of it. But since it's been at a film festival, it won like this top prize for the film festival. I think it was called like the Golden Lion or something like that.
I think it's the Golden Lion, which is like essentially the Oscar for film festivals.
Yeah, so it's doing very good. People like the film, so it's just kind of like, come on, people, just get off your high horses, wait until the movie comes out, and then go ahead and feel like you go ahead and bash the movie. It's like the same thing of like those dudes that were bashing Captain Marvel before it even came out. Like, go see the movie and then give me your opinion, and then at the end of the day realize it's just a comic book movie, and it just makes me so upset because it's just like, we don't even know if we're gonna like or hate this movie on the podcast, and already I have to defend the movie. So it's just like, it's just so frustrating. And you know, I think Joaquin Phoenix in these trailers has looked super cool, so I'm actually looking forward to it. So now I'm forced to go into this movie with all this extra baggage, and it's just so annoying. So maybe I'm just on Twitter a little too much.
You know what would really make that better? A nice big jar of jalapenos that you can eat out of while you're watching this movie.
The briny smell that wafts into my nose. That's a Joker move. That's some sadistic thing that he would like going on in the screening of his movie.
Exactly. Everyone gets a free jar, and you have to eat it while you watch the movie. The Rotten Tomato score's out. Not that matters at all. But if people are interested in doing it, a month early. If you want to set your expectations now, go ahead. You'll forget about it by the time it comes out. What I hate about this, and you know, in kind of a similar vein, Mike, is now I want to watch the movie and I can't. And people are asking me, "Hey, when's this movie come out?" And I'm like,
forever
October.
Away.
I'm like, you're seeing way too much news for a movie that's not even available for the public to watch yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but that's also kind of puts me in the idea that they might do early advance screenings. So keep your eye open for any, you know, links that may pop up on your Twitter, Mike, for early advance screenings of Joker.
Yeah, just don't have an opinion about something unless you've actually experienced it. I'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. Says Mike, who has an opinion about having experience. No, I'm kidding. Well, last week we talked a little bit about the Birds of Prey leaked footage. This time we got a higher quality resolution version with an English title and
full resolution. You can see the hyena bits at the very end.
Yeah, and you can actually see the title this time. So it's Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, which is, I'm just calling it Birds of Prey for the rest of its life.
Yeah.
But she says, was it no more...
clowns.
Yeah, no more clowns. Yeah, what's up with all these clowns? Because it's a fake It 2 trailer at the beginning.
Yeah.
So
the only real takeaway I think we got out of this was looking at the logo at the very end, because they kind of like hid like knives and weapons and stuff in the letters. That was kind of cool. So shout out to the graphic designer over there at Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
but
like it's good, and it's like good and subtle. Like like once we looked at it, yeah, like, oh, there's all this fun stuff. But like looking at it, it's not like, oh my god, they're doing over the top Suicide Squad lettering. So. That was a really, really fun revelation while watching it here. But this is online, so if you didn't get the Russian one from last time, you can go click on this one and watch it. And do that. So no more clowns. No more. We're not down to clown, people. Mission Impossible 7. I can't believe it. I wrote the number 7 after this. That's what got me. Because the first one came out in the mid-90s, right? So Mission Impossible 7, Hayley Atwell, Agent Carter herself, is joining the cast of the upcoming film.
There's a good chance that if you're a woman with an accent, you're going to be in a Mission Impossible movie, because they have to make this. Tom Cruise more kind of cultured than he is, just being an American. So they throw accents at these characters. So excited to see Hayley Atwell anytime I can, because we obviously loved her in Agent Carter. I think we're going to talk about her here possibly in a moment in the next topic. But yeah, we're Hayley Atwell stands over here.
Well, it's one of those things like, are you an actor in a superhero franchise, but you're not getting any work in that franchise, a la Henry Cavill, Hayley Atwell? Then let's put you in the Mission Impossible movies while we wait. Jeremy Renner was in there for a while when he wasn't getting any solo action movies.
Yeah, it's like purgatory.
Yeah, Simon Pegg was in Star Trek, and then he's like, well, we need him in these movies too.
So
yeah, exactly, like all these people just kind of popping up in these movies now recently. So
Mission Impossible 8, Nathan Fillion, and Alan Tudyk, they're going to be in that movie. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, we're coming up where Mission Impossible movies are about on par in terms of number with Fast and Furious movies.
Well, also, I think this franchise is supposed to be ending. I think it's rumored, but I wouldn't be surprised if MI9 is maybe the last one.
Oh, Mission Impossible X. They got to get to the X.
That would be cool.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm also waiting for some crossover franchise here. Like when's the shark gonna get jumped? These have been pretty good lately, but like when are they gonna mess up and jump that shark?
Well, obviously, I don't know if it's the same studio, but it's either got to be 22 Jump Street or Men in Black, because we never got that crossover.
Yeah. Or what's another Tom Cruise franchise? Jack Reacher. Mission Impossible meets Jack Reacher, and he just plays the whole thing.
Yeah, just bring all of his characters. We got the technology. We can do it.
Yeah, it works. So, Mission Impossible 7 on the horizon. I think Hayley Atwell might be related to Henry Cavill's character, both British secret agents. But
yeah, all right.
And that what made me think of the Fast and Furious thing, because like, wasn't what's her name, Charlize Theron's character, like the sister to Jason Statham or something like that?
Yeah, well, it wasn't Charlize Theron. It was the other actress that was Charlize Theron was the bad guy. The sister of Jason Statham. I don't know. Whatever. I can't keep track of this goddamn
Jason
franchise.
Statham was in Hobbs and Shaw, and she was actually in the last Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, that's right.
So
the chain of events. See, they can merge. They can merge.
They got it all. Marvel's What If is going to be an interesting show. I'll tell you this right now. The showrunner has gone to clarify some statements that people have been assuming that Kevin Feige made, where they said there'll be one episode for every movie. That's not true. Every movie will be explored in a new way, but not every episode is about one movie. Meaning, hey, do you like Black Panther and Guardians of the Galaxy? Well, now you get Black Panther as Star-Lord. And here we have 2 images of T'Challa in the Star-Lord outfit for some reason. I don't know. I can't draw the line myself, but they're somehow doing it.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. I'm not really sure why. It almost just seems like let's just throw a different person. And I guess maybe what if T'Challa was kind of kidnapped from Wakanda when he was a kid? I'm guessing is going to be the story there. I'm more kind of interested in the animation style, because as we go through and look at all of these different show ideas, they all seem to have the same animation style, Whereas I thought we might be getting a Love, Death, and Robots or Animatrix type of situation where like it was more of a compendium of like different styles. So I guess it's not a bad thing that they're unifying all of it, because I guess, you know, that seems very Disney, it seems very corporate to go ahead and get a consistent style. But I have not always been the biggest fan of this 3D kind of generated style, so I'm not getting the best representation since these all seem to be like kind of screenshots or like literally like iPhone pictures of a movie screen somewhere. Yeah. But I guess I'll just have to wait and see how the animation goes. Because if you go over on Netflix, there's like some just like random like 3D generated kind of like animes that you can kind of preview, and I just don't like the look of them. So maybe I'm just being nitpicky.
They said it's similar to Star Wars Resistance, and again, these are very low resolution screenshots, you know, like you mentioned. But I mean, to me, like each still looks like, you know, it could be its own individual kind of picture in and of itself. Like, I enjoy the lighting. We have a zombie Captain America here, where
that's my favorite one. I love that picture.
Yeah, his eyes are glowing red. He's blue. It looks like one of the newer suits. And then the one after that, we get to see another Steve Rogers in his little bitty Steve Rogers in a big Iron Man suit. It looks like. So
I mean, I guess if I had to compliment one style of 3D animation, Netflix has a show called The Dragon Prince from one of the writers of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which looks kind of like this possible style. So I don't know. There's hope. I'm not too bummed out on it, but I absolutely love the whole idea and concept of everything going here, because these are all things that we would never in a million years see in the MCU proper. So I'm glad we get to explore ideas of zombie Steve Rogers, because that's honestly badass.
Yep. And lastly, we get to see Captain Carter and her Howling Commandos. And that's kind of got like, to me, this last one looks more like a motion comic, but also this could just be very much a still shot for this one. So like a concept art drawing. But yeah, so what if, I mean, like I said, we're going to have the watcher narrate all these different alternate takes on these movies. And, you know, again, I don't think there'll be 23 episodes. They'll probably be closer to like, 10 or 12. And
yeah,
how does this tie into the MCU at large?
Yeah, and I'm curious how short they are. Are they going for 12-minute episodes? Are they going for 22-minute episodes? It's streaming. I guess theoretically they could be as long as they need it to be. Are they going to come out on a weekly basis? Is it going to come out all at once? We know some of the Disney stuff is going to be weekly based. You know, it's this is one of their kind of like, I feel like, younger audience type of situations. So who knows how they're going to pivot with it, but I'm very excited.
You say that, but remember watching Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Mike, and how adult that show was? For being an animated show. That's a great Marvel show where you get a lot of lore at once.
Man, speaking about something that's kind of on the adult side of thing, I've been slowly working my way through the Dark Crystal series on Netflix. And I believe last week I said it, you know, it's an all ages type of show, and I still feel like it is that way, but also they sneak in some kind of scary stuff every once in a while, to where if like you're like, you know, if your kid was sitting on you next to the couch, they might have that nostalgic kind of fear that we had when we were kids, you know, because I feel like for a while now a lot of this kid stuff has been pretty sanitary. But I don't know if you remember, Chris, but when we were kids, I feel like we would watch like either a cartoon or like a live action kid movie, and there would be like actually kind of scary stuff going on. So maybe that's slowly kind of coming back into the zeitgeist of it's okay to scare kids a little bit now, because there is like a bug that eats somebody's eyeball in Dark Crystal, and it was like kind of scary but really cool. So
yeah, I mean, because it's puppets, it makes it that much more real, I think, like feeling, because you're like, oh yeah, that's not animation, that's like you can go touch this puppet if it was there. I'm like, that's weird. So I definitely get the heebie-jeebies sometimes with those. As a Muppet fan, I even say that. So the Hawkeye show's another Disney Plus show and coming out, and they've gotten Mad Men writer, I think he was also an editor at some point, Jonathan Igla, to write the Disney Plus series. So I'm not as familiar with Mad Men, but I know there are a lot of people who like the show.
Yeah, it won a ton of Emmys.
Yeah, so yeah, that's cool that they've got a guy to write this out. The thought process also, is this Jeremy Renner's last Marvel take to replace him with Kate Bishop? I don't know. I think Jeremy Renner will take any movie you give him.
Who knows how long these kind of original Avengers can stay out of these series? Because I saw some rumors out there. It's just, I'm pretty sure it's just rumors, and you probably agree, which is the whole reason it's not in our show notes, but an idea of Robert Downey Jr. possibly coming back as a voice for like an Ironheart series. And I was kind of poking through the article, and I didn't see any really solid sources. So theoretically, these actors might be fine coming back in voice roles.
Yeah, well, I mean, he could totally do like what he did with in Iron Man or Spider-Man: Homecoming, where he filmed for 3 days and made a bunch of money in that movie. So he could do, but I mean, Ironheart has no precedent in this universe yet. So like until they announce something, like that could be 5 years down the road when they do that. That'd be fine, but.
And also at the same time, I have no issues with somebody taking up the mantle of Iron Man or the character of Ironheart, but I feel like they've kind of treaded on that story with the last Spider-Man movie of like literally Peter Parker putting on Tony's glasses and like kind of taking over. So I feel like, if you bring up Ironheart, I think you need to pivot. You need to find a different angle than literally the voice of Tony Stark coming back in. So feel fine to bring the character in, but maybe a new angle at it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Because, I mean, literally what I would say, like, oh, maybe she found a piece of tech by him, and he's like, whoever have the power of Iron Man shall wield this tech. And I'm like, that's exactly what Far From Home was with the glasses. So, I mean, I don't need... We've got a lot to look forward to, and I think Ironheart may have just been a thing to be like, hey, no more Spider-Man. What about Ironheart? And you're like...
Yeah, I feel like now that like Miss Marvel and like She-Hulk and all of these other shows have been announced, everyone's like, all right, everything's on the table. If you hear a whisper at a cafe from anybody who looks like they possibly work in Hollywood about any Marvel character, it's probably going to be on the streaming service, so let's run with the story. So I feel like we need to be a little bit more critical of these rumors coming out.
Yeah, exactly, because they are going to definitely be doing that pretty hardcore. Speaking of Fantastic Four, the rumor right now, Mel, is that Doom may not be the villain in the first MCU film for Fantastic Four, and I say, hell yeah.
Perfect. Yes, they've used them as much as they can. Like I said, like we've said before, we want him to be kind of maybe a cooler kind of character in the shadows, kind of building things up.
And he was literally been in all 4 other Fantastic Four movies. So why do you have to make him again in this one? Sure, his creation is tied to the creation of the Fantastic Four. That's fine. But in the very first Fantastic Four comic, Mole Man was the villain. So why not use that a little bit? I mean, the character's name existed in the last Fantastic Four movie with I can't think of his name. He was the leader in the Incredible Hulk, the scientist who had the green stuff going to his brain. The actor from
I don't know.
The actor from Oh Brother Where Art Thou, the smaller one.
Oh God,
he's also in Holes. But anyway,
he's also in Holes, folks.
He's in these Marvel roles where he's Marvel character roles that are going nowhere whatsoever. So, but Mole Man definitely has an opportunity to become a villain in this and really not make Doom at the forefront. Someone else also mentioned with Noah Hawley doing the Doom movie, maybe Marvel could make him a Disney Plus series, but I don't see that really working out either. Before his movie appearances, I don't know. I feel he's got a good Loki opportunity here to become a villain that people care about later.
Yeah,
and also with him being the leader of Latveria, like a kingdom, like maybe a Black Panther conflict later on. I don't know.
Yeah. We briefly talked about it in a past episode where it'd be cool if they kind of come up to a big movie event where all these kingdoms are kind of like fighting each other at some point in time. So you're gonna need Latveria for that.
Yeah, like Avengers: Realm of Kings would be cool. Anyway, lastly, Avengers. Speaking of, Endgame is now the longest running movie in 2019, still in theaters, still making money to this day. Officially.
Yeah, I guess there was never a chance that they weren't gonna reach that box office goal, because I remember talking about like, oh, how long is this gonna run through all of the summer? How long? They were always gonna get that. They were always gonna get that number 1 spot.
Yeah, and so it's just another interesting. I think it was tied with Dumbo earlier this week, and now it has surpassed Dumbo, in with 134 days in theaters still. I think if I pull up my stats here, Infinity War ran for 140, so it maybe has one more week left in it before they pull it.
Well, they'll put out the double extended version where you get to see 2 more seconds of pre-rendered footage, and they'll make you go see it again.
Nah, I think with it being on physical and digital, no one's going back to the theater anymore. Last year, just to put out there, Incredibles 2 was the longest running film of 2018 with 182 days. So
Gasp, another Disney film dominating the movie theater.
Well, it tied with A Star Is Born, but a lot of our audience isn't we're not catering to the Star Is Born audience here.
What, they didn't want to see real life Rocket Raccoon?
Incredibles 2 wasn't that good to run that long.
I'm glad, Chris, that we're coming back around to it. Incredibles 2 was all right. It was all right. I don't think it lived up to all the time that we had to wait for it.
6 months in the theater is just whoa.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it not being as good as the first one.
Yeah.
It's like we still live in this weird world that like something either needs to be the best of all time or the worst thing ever made. It's just like, no, things can live on a spectrum in the middle.
Well, and Pixar's reputation for sequels is worse than good. Toy Story was an anomaly, right?
It's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, exactly. Everything else, I love Monsters Inc., Monsters University, I do not like watching. Cars got 2 and 3, and even what spun off into Planes. What was that about?
I think Planes technically wasn't part of the Pixar universe. I think it was another.
It was Disney, but
it was Disney before they had kind of their animation new renaissance again.
But it was the same thing. It was Cars with wings. It's like what's that TV show? Wings was the airport version of Cheers, pretty much.
I liked Wings. I didn't know this. But I think I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about like Frasier and whatnot, and I think Frasier or one of the Cheers characters made a cameo in Wings, which I thought they were doing crossovers way before MCU was. You know, there was a Cheers characters popping up in Frasier popping up in Wings. It was just a crossover city on TV. So none of this stuff is new. But I heard one of the Russo brothers wants Robert Downey Jr. to win an Oscar for Endgame. Don't think that's going to happen, Joe. What's
the bonus he's getting for that?
I mean, it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world if Downey Jr. I don't know why I'm calling him Downey Jr. If Downey Jr. got a nomination, just because it's not far beyond the Academy to nominate or award people things for like completing. You know, it's like, hey, you know, your stuff wasn't the best in the world, but you did a lot of it and you held in there, so we're at least going to throw you a nomination. So that could possibly happen. But hey, this Joker movie, I never would expect a DC movie to win a film festival, so anything can happen. I mean, Suicide Squad has an Oscar. That's crazy. I can't even say that with a straight face.
Yeah. Nope. Well, anything's possible this year, Mike. So we'll have to keep our eye on award season early next year, which is also around Super Bowl season. One of my favorite times of the year for our shows because we do 2 episodes a day. Yeah,
somebody told me that Super Bowl Sunday is the best day to go to theme parks. So check that out if you don't like the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, they got to stay home and watch the commercials so then they can listen to our recap afterwards. Because that's one of the most important Sunday shows we do.
I can't go to the Disney park today. I got to sit home and watch a commercial for the next Disney movie.
Yeah, exactly. And Black Panther and probably not Black Panther, Black Widow, and probably the first teaser for Eternals.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there's Disney Plus thrown in there somewhere too.
Yeah. Well, I guess Captain America, Bucky, and Winter Soldier would be that next fall. So yeah, there you go. You got it. That's our show for this week, Mike. We were all over the place a little bit here.
Yeah, we nailed it though. Just like every week, we nailed it.
Dang, another show done. Another show down. If people want to know what you're up to, where they can find Big Bad Billy, the Ranger, because I know you're gonna go sketch him now. You got to draw your character, Mike. That's part of the D&D process.
I was thinking about him the entire drive home.
And that was late at night too for you guys, wasn't it? So it was like 2:00 here when I got done. So where can they find you at and all the stuff you're doing?
It's really easy. All you got to do is go to Mike Royer Design on Instagram or Twitter, and you can get my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to check you out, see what you're doing, see what hot dogs you're rolling up, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Valdan, VALDAN, or Instagram, Valdan87. I'm gonna go get some nice hot dogs for this thing.
Yeah.
I'm not getting those cheap ones to break it.
Nathan's hot dogs are the best hot dogs I've ever had.
So I'm also thinking to go to the local gas station and buy myself some of those the rollers, like the tornadoes or whatever they're called, that are flavorful.
Oh my God, Chris, you are so speaking to me. I love those things. Sometimes they're called tornadoes. I feel like sometimes they're called twisters. I think technically people might refer to them as like a taquito, but it's not a taquito. Taquitos are really crispy and they kind of like, they break open and there's kind of like shells that come off with it. Like these things are almost kind of like weird, like floury. They got like chew to them, but they're delicious. I love them.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how to buy those in a store. So if I buy them from the gas station, bring them home, keep them warm.
Yeah, it's just like, can I get some of the frozen ones you haven't put on the spigot yet?
Yeah. I would just love some of those. Some right out of your fridge if you could. So that head over to Comic UI this next month. I'm headed to GalaxyCon here in Louisville. That's my next Comic Con I'm going to. People are going to go. It's a 3-day event. Very excited about it. Tickets are on sale. I think $50 for the weekend. It's pretty good price here. So I'll be doing that. People want to know more about our show, what we're doing, our next review, which is the Joker, obviously award-winning Joker. Where can they get ready for that at?
Oh, it's so easy. All you got to do is visit superheroslate.com. You can go there, find all the places we host our show, and to get our awesome show notes. So we got a lot of screenshots in here for Marvel's What If. Go check out the show notes so you can see that awesome shot of zombie Captain Marvel. And you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and wherever else you'd like to listen to podcasts. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch over at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. We love it when you reach out. Let us know what you think about the show, what you want us to talk about. If you want to know more opinions about candy corn, had some people reach out. Apparently they weren't expecting us to have all these hard, fast opinions on candy corn. I will not touch a piece of candy corn until October rolls around. I have standards.
However, there's a new Mountain Dew flavor. It kind of tastes like candy corn. So
yeah, I think it's called Voodoo. Chris thinks it tastes like candy corn if it was mixed with Mountain Dew. I think it tastes like cotton candy or possibly bubblegum flavor, maybe mixed a little bit together. But it's weird because it has the Grim Reaper on the front of it, and the Grim Reaper would never taste like this. So I guess you can go check that out. Let us know what you think about that Mountain Dew flavor, because we know we love our vanity snacks over here at the podcast. But if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you got to do is buy Chris more things for his home theater, and just share the show with a friend. Share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week, folks.
Yep, including next week. We'll see you then.
All right, adios.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Well, it's a pipe dream, and it's probably not going to happen, but it would be nice